Tonight, the pros and cons of merging municipalities.
They're not being properly run because of vanity. I think the councillors and the people that become mayor of these smaller municipalities get big heads.
Anger at what residents call the fracturing of their wards.
They were supposed to come to us even if there are changes, because we are the ones who are dealing with people. We know the problems.
And mixed reaction in one of the biggest local government areas in the country about the public participation process.
Well, good evening to you and welcome to another episode of our special pre-election program. I am Tabiso Sitole.
A very good evening to you. My name is Leanne Manus and welcome to the program. In tonight's show, we look at the issue of merging municipal councils. Opposition parties say that while big metros may have more resources, people living in them could have less say in matters actually affecting them.
Now, our viewers, as usual, are welcome to participate in the program by sending us your emails as well as SMS comments. Begin your SMSs with the word vote, followed by your message. Those SMSs will cost you R1.50 each. Our email address is pretty simple, elections@sabc.co.za.
Let's kick off tonight's show with the latest election news. Richard Ingram compiled this report for us.
The ANC continues to roll out its big guns in the Western Cape in its efforts to woo voters in the province. Today it was Deputy President Kgalema Motlante's turn. He spent the day visiting several communities in the Boland. A walkabout visit to the township of Zwelathemba at Worcester followed a fundraising breakfast with business people in the region. However, some residents weren't too pleased with Motlante's second visit to the area. They claim promises he made the last time he visited the area are yet to be fulfilled. In Durban, the ANC said it was not too concerned about candidates who've registered as independents in KwaZulu-Natal, but they were warned that their party membership would end automatically. There were only a few objections to selected candidates in some wards.
We must say that in majority of cases, the people were satisfied with the process that were followed and were endorsed. Such candidates were endorsed by communities as well as the alliance structures.
At Tlapeng village near Mafikeng in Northwest, the leader of the African Christian Democratic Party, Kenneth Meshwe, was on the election trail. He said COSATU Secretary General Zwelinzima Vavi's statement that the ANC was approaching the elections with its tail between its legs was an admission that the party had failed to meet the expectations of the majority of the electorate, especially in the provision of services.
What he said has to be taken seriously. And he said the ANC may find themselves in the opposition benches. And that's what also I want to say, that because our people are ready to serve, they are ready to serve the public, then the ANC may find themselves in opposition benches. I agree with him with that.
In East London, the chief whip of the Congress of the People, or COPE, Tozamile Botha, said the party was ready to contest next month's elections in the Eastern Cape.
We are taking a view as COPE, the CNC, and the task team in the province, that anybody who wants to submit in the name of COPE will be permitted to do so under the umbrella of COPE, regardless of what grouping he or she belongs to.
A small group of supporters of ousted COPE faction leader Mbazima Shilowa held a placard demonstration denouncing the leadership of COPE President Mosiuoa Lekota. And in Johannesburg, the Pan-African Congress today celebrated its 52nd anniversary. Many party veterans and former Robben Island prisoners attended the function in the Carlton Centre. Speakers included renowned poet Don Matera and the PAC Deputy President Johnson Mlambo.
An overemphasis on the question of the armed struggle, because armed force was used so much against our people. Our people particularly did not want to relinquish. At the time when we had to turn away from armed struggle, I was leader of the PAC. I had a problem because of the brutal force that had been used against us as the African people.
Now, many small municipalities are struggling to deliver services due to financial mismanagement and lack of capacity. Government hopes the incorporation of these municipalities into larger ones will attract and retain skilled professional staff. Matau Moto filed this report.
The lack of a large enough tax base and bigger budgets hamper proper planning by councils and limit their ability to attract and retain senior and well-trained municipal officials. These are some of the reasons why small councils are being incorporated into bigger municipalities. This is a requirement for any municipality to deliver services effectively without the risk of having to be bailed out by its provincial government.
The current 15 municipalities from May this year, after the election, they are going to be reduced to 12 because Tshwane, Egurule, Tshwane, Enkungwini, Mitsweding and Nokenta Daiman are going to merge as one entity.
The Nokenta Daiman municipality in northeastern Gauteng, which includes urban areas like Reyton, Cullinan and Refilwe, previously resorted under the Mitsweding district municipality, failed to deliver services to its people. The ANC won control in the 2006 local government election and the council soon landed in financial difficulties. Then the DA took over and it started to recover, but problems persisted. The ANC won control back, but nothing changed and the municipality was eventually incorporated into the Tshwane municipality. However, the DA criticized the move, saying the merger was an ANC attempt to deal with internal problems. It says absorbing the Mitsweding district municipality and through it the Nokenta Daimani into Tshwane also meant inheriting its debt. The DA alleges that the problem was caused by inefficient and corrupt councillors whom the government retained.
They're not being properly run because of vanity. I think the councillors and the people that become mayor of these smaller municipalities get big heads and all of a sudden they want to have fancy offices and drive around in expensive cars.
In her State of the Province address, Gauteng Premier Nomvula Mokonyane said the province was working towards the creation of new cities and was planning a single local government system. Mokonyane said the 4 big metros in Gauteng would absorb all surrounding district municipalities by 2016.
As part of Vision 2055, work has begun to create a single system of local government in Gauteng. We have made good progress towards the merger of the Tshwane Metro and the Mitsweding district. All indications are that key stakeholders are on board and we are on track to realize a single Tshwane Metro the next day after the announcement of the elections and the establishment of municipalities.
That's centralization of power at the highest form. We believe that government must be as close as possible to the people. So the greater your metro, the more easy it is for Lutuli House, for instance, to control what happens in these municipalities.
The Premier said the plan included reviving the central business districts of Germiston, Vereeniging and Krugersdorp. She cited the West Rand as an area where a metro could be created by a merger of municipalities. But while ratepayers living in smaller municipalities expect better service delivery as part of bigger and more economically active municipalities, this is not necessarily the case. Being part of the bigger municipality means resources have to be spread more, and the area that previously fell under the smaller municipality might not get as much attention as the people expect. On the other hand, people in the larger municipalities that absorb smaller ones with financial and governance issues might feel that they are getting a raw deal. Matau Mutwa, SABC News, Pretoria.
After the break, we look at the sticky election issue of ward delimitations. Stay with us.
And a splatter. It is the same but better. Better and better.
Award-winning comedian has a trick to captivate audiences. It's called telling it exactly like it is. Monique, the writer, the wife, the mother. the Golden Globe winner, and the 12th African American to win an Oscar. These are the attributes that Monique brings to her talk show every Saturday at 9 only on SABC2.
Good evening and welcome back. You're watching our special pre-election program right on SABC2, coming live to you at home from our studios in Johannesburg.
Now, let's hear from our viewers how they feel about bigger municipalities.
Tungo register.
Why?
Ngore hewe mbuso za kuma ndikare man riko register mara kono wana thuso.
No, ga ke bone botlhokwa ba go register because ga ke bone tswelopele.
It tries that minute to vote than in South Africa. Lo nga vote so la anga vina reto anga vina na buthamlere ka election.
Phela ngisupporta i-country yami ukuthi ngeze lokho kufunwa i-country yami ukuthi sithole uhulumeni abazosiphatha kahle.
Ke register this time for vote because ke dumela gore e gona opportunity ya gore o ne le voice ya gore o voice out gore o batla party e.
And registerang.
Why nga registerang?
So far na musa ba nyeke na mtero. Aba intellichumi.
Register.
Why go register?
Ngifuna nami ukuthi ngibeke ivote lami uzokwazi ukubonakala ukuthi ngiyasekhaphi eSouth Africa.
I am registering.
Why nga register?
Ide yami na yakho buya.
Seems to be a common problem with a lot of South Africans waiting for ID books first. Well, with the upcoming municipal elections just weeks away, voters in several districts of Soweto are angry that ward boundaries have been moved without proper consultation. Adrian Abada filed this report.
Residents of one of South Africa's well-known townships, Soweto, are finding themselves divided. With municipal elections around the corner, many residents now find themselves on the wrong side of the boundary. They blame the process of ward delimitation done by the Municipal Demarcation Board for the division, or as they call it, fracturing of their municipalities.
That is our problem. They don't come to us, and then we are the organization for the people, for the community, right? Mm-hmm. In fact, they were supposed to come to us even if there are changes, because we are the ones who are dealing with people. We know the problems.
But what exactly is ward delimitation, and why is it necessary in South Africa?
It's basically a process of subdividing municipal territories into subunits that would actually ensure that each councillor is elected in that space. So it's a form in which was established to ensure that people in a particular locality or space exercise their local their local democracy by actually having somebody that represents their needs, and actually where they could hold those people accountable.
But residents feel they are merely pawns in a game of political chess.
2011, Soweto concerned resident, our stand is that we don't need any councillors. We are going to council ourselves because there is more corruption in this organization. Even now, they are busy fighting each other for the positions. It's a shame for the government to fight in front of the people.
The Municipal Demarcation Board disagrees and says residents have been involved every step of the way.
The entire process of ward delimitation basically involve the communities. In fact, this time around, more than ever before, we have made the process to be participatory and inclusive.
The board says boundaries in the disputed ward have remained largely unchanged compared to that in the 2009 municipal elections. Anger, it seems, may be misguided.
In communities, particularly during this time, there would be quite a number of, if you like, issues and disagreements. And our experience now is that some of them have really little to do with the ward boundaries, but have got something to do with other things.
What, if anything, can be done about the disputed wards this close to an election?
For purposes of these elections, nothing can be changed now.
But for the residents of the disputed wards, the answer is clear.
We are going to boycott the elections.
Adrian Abeda, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Now, joining us in our studio tonight is the chairperson of the Demarcation Board, Babulandiwe Jackie Mahlangu. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, Travis.
As we saw there, people are not too happy. Did we leave it too late? I just asked the question of fair. What's the process? I mean, did we leave it too late?
No, I think the process was, there was sufficient time for everyone to be involved. Clearly, as you noticed in the clip, we had made this process as far as possible to involve as many people as we could. And indeed, I can say now is that, in fact, of all the wards, I'm talking about 4,277 of these wards that have been delimited, only 10% of those were just purely our proposal. The majority of them really was a product of consultation, with the communities. Like in any other process, clearly you can only consult so much. If in any particular ward you've got 15,000 people, you can get as much as 15,000 ways in which how can that ward be structured.
Who did we consult in terms of, or who did you consult in terms of the municipal borders, for example?
The consultation was very a localized process. So there was a consultation that was facilitated and directed by each municipalities. In this particular instance, the Joburg City Council, through the office of the Speaker, was the one that was actually kind of involved in actually arranging, this process. The process basically involved us sending the draft ward boundaries, where the communities actually, commented on it, where, for instance, they have agreed, with our proposal. They would actually indicate so. Where they did not agree with our proposal, and they had different proposals, they had indicated, as such. There were instances where, for instance, the communities neither agreed with our proposal, nor amongst themselves, in which case we had basically facilitated that process, and in Joburg, it was the case. And we're satisfied that all inputs, reasonable inputs that were actually given, were taken into account in this instance.
Now the Constitutional Court obviously ruled in your favor with the Holabon and Renaissance Foundation from the establishment of Soweto Municipality. What does this mean for the board?
It's a slightly different case. Basically what the application by the Holabon, Renaissance, was basically trying to, if you like, have Soweto as an independent, local municipality. Our argument, even when that request was, put before us, we had informed them to say, when we do what delimitation purposes of elections, we do not tamper with the outer boundaries. We do not tamper with the status of the municipalities. So basically, the functions of the board is to do boundaries, outer boundaries, and the ward elections. And those processes can't be done simultaneously because you must keep the other one stable. You can't be subdividing boundaries and at the same time changing the boundaries. So that was basically our response. But clearly, I think they had a different perspective in terms of what we said. So they decided to go to the Constitutional Court. So we actually quite welcome, that decision. My view has always been that it was not necessary, for them to do so. But I think we just hope that everybody would focus on the task at hand now, try to encourage our people to go and vote.
Now the demarcation of the new municipality and ward boundaries, especially in the Eastern Cape, was at the center of most problems that led to, as you know, the splitting of the ANC, separate party structures rather, as members fought for control in that part of the country. Now, do you think that your mandate will always cause problems in some of these structures, if you can put it that way?
Normally, issues around boundaries has been basically around what one would call provincial boundaries. This is, and I'm sure you must be referring to the case of Matatiel and the other areas. That issue is really not an issue for the board. What the Constitution basically says that any other where it involves provincial boundary, if for instance there's a dispute of the municipal boundary that touches a provincial boundary, that's an issue for Parliament, because you can only change a provincial boundary if there's an amendment, in the Constitution. So it's really beyond, our mandate. It's a demarcation issue, but it's not, at our door.
Now, finally, before we let you go, now, about 14 months ago, the community of Moetse held a referendum where about, more than 70% of the people there were reported to have voted for the relocation to Mpumalanga. Does that board, does the board look at the numbers of people who vote, for example, in that instance, on what decisions they make?
It's a similar case to the one at actually Motse. You know, it's not really, really within our mandate. But, certainly I would imagine is that clearly if the majority of the people have made a particular choice, our view is that it should be respected. But, that is an issue that is really at the door of the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, and I'm sure they should be making some announcements soon in that particular respect.
Dr. Mahlanga, thank you very much. That was Mr. Mahlanga rather, unless you are a doctor, no? Mr. Mahlanga, thank you very much for taking part in this pre-election program. Mr. Mahlanga there is from the Demarcation Board. And thank you very much, once again, Jackie Mahlanga is the chairperson of the Demarcation Board. Thanks. Now, thank you for sending us your emails. As you saw during the program there, we had a couple of scrolls coming through. Remember, your SMSs as well are welcome. You send vote, your message, and SMS will cost you R1.50 each. Our email address is elections@sabc.co.za. We welcome anything you'd like to send to us. What do you think of the elections come up? Why are you going to vote? Why will you not vote? Who are you going to vote for? In fact, that's your secret. You can keep it to yourself. But do not leave. We'll be right back after this break. Stay tuned.
Tonight on Sewende Laan.
Hou vir my hoenderpastei asseblief. Ek sal dit later kom haal.
Maak so.
Bye.
Bye. Sewende Laan. Tonight, 6:30. Welcome back to the show. More election news coming your way, and this is a very important part of the show because we actually give the smaller parties that are contesting the local government elections just 60 seconds to state his or her party's case.
Yeah, well, here's the African Muslim Party telling you why you should vote for them.
The African Muslim Party, in broad terms, stands for religious tolerance, equality, poverty alleviation, and the general upliftment of the community. Vote African Muslim Party. More support, more councillors will in effect provide you with more service delivery. We have proven ourselves to date. We have come to the aid and assistance of those who asked and those who we hear has problems with service delivery. We don't boast, we assist. Whatever the problem, it is not too big to handle. Vote African Muslim Party, your natural home for the Western Cape.
The public participation process of the Sianda District Municipality in the Northern Cape has been met with mixed reaction by people living within its borders. The process is meant to give the communities an opportunity to give input and have a say in how they are governed. While successes have been recorded in some areas of the 6 municipalities within its boundaries, others barely even know about this particular process, as Ulrich Henriks reports.
Die Sianda Distriksmunisipaliteit is een van die grootste plaaslike regeringsgebiede in Suid-Afrika. Dit dek 'n gebied van sowat 100 vierkante kilometer, so groot soos die Vrystaat. Die gebied word begrens deur die Oranje rivier in die suide, die Kalahari in die noorde en Namibië in die weste. Die munisipaliteit is op Appington gesetel, maar dien ook baie plattelandse gebiede, soos Remvasmaak, 'n dorre, eilbevolkte gebied suidwes van Appington. Dis hier op Remvasmaak waar die Sianda Distriksmunisipaliteit sy openbare deelnameproses van stapel laat loop het en waar die gevolge al sigbaar is.
Ja, ons het baie al gesien, ons het hospitale het ons al getange en kliniek en polieskamp wat ook ons gehad ook hier. Dis was tevrede met die regering wat ons gegee het.
Verlede jare die projekte begin. Die behuising, nuwe huise wat aangebouw is, en die pad waarmee hulle bezig is, en dan ook die pyplyn.
Maar in ander gebiede, soos Appington, is die openbare deelnameproses 'n vreemde verskynsel.
Dis iets ek van weet nie daarvan, maar ons nog net binne nie.
Dan moet meer werk gedaan worden aan ons wat zo zwaar krijgt. En niet op je werken, jij kan ook zeggen opstaan en werken.
Qualified diesel mechanic, geswat en katoe, mee epische op doen op die mine, PPC, lime. Die epische klaarmaken en sinds dan heb ik nog weer werk gekregen. Die municipaliteit sê die proses was vir hom 'n openbaring oor wat die mense meen die prioriteite behoort te wees.
Eerstens onze verhouding met onze gemeenschappen Riemvasmak, Sending, sowel als Vredevallei en Swartkopdam. Onze verhouding is baie goed met mekaar. Ons werk baie goed met onze wijksforums, wat dan ook beheer en bestuur wordt door die speaker van die districtmunicipaliteit. 2. En dan, wat ook baie belangrijk is, ons het ook een goede verstandhouding dan met onze landbouunies, want dit is waar onze inkomsten vandaan komen.
Die municipaliteit sê alle gemeenskappe sal uiteindelik geraadpleeg word. Alle versoeke sal dan volgens belangrikheid en die beskikbaarheid van geld gelys word. Ulrich Hendricks, SAIK nuus, Appington.
Well, that's it for tonight's show. Don't forget to join us again tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. right on SABC2 for more election news.
In tomorrow's show, beneficiaries of RDP houses in Kagiso share their feelings about finally leaving their squatter camp.
The community was negative about moving in the beginning, but we showed them the development and attitudes have changed and they will be happy if they can get a house there.
Definitely something to tune in for.
Definitely. Did you register?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't register. I was out of the country.
You are, so wait, what does that mean?
That means as a journalist, I think I'll vote wherever I'm working on that particular day.
Okay, thank goodness, because that's just, then we were going to have to reassess the situation.
Good evening.
Have a fantastic everybody. Enjoy. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.